Billionaire Peter Thiel has sold off 73% of his shares in the company. Thiel, an early investor in Facebook and a member of its board, sold over 160,000 shares for a total of $29 million. This according to a regulatory filing. First of all, it's important to note that Peter Thiel sold the vast majority of his Facebook shares right after the IPO in 2012, almost $1 billion worth of stock. So he had very little remaining, and now he sold almost all of that. Tom, what do you make of this?
Well, it's just sort of kind of a reminder of a couple of missteps. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure Peter Thiel wished he'd held on to those shares for a bit longer from the IPO. He sort of recouped about $1 billion from them, but at current share price, it's closer to $4 billion. A big misstep for him and his investors. Just in terms of, I guess, just how this looks, you know, he's still a director at Facebook, and he's really whittling down his personal stake to pretty much the bare minimum. It's now at about $11 million. This shouldn't be a surprise to investors. This is all part of his trading plan. When it comes through, it definitely reminds them, like, hey, why is a sort of a very prominent Facebook investor sort of pulling back at this point?
To top it off, you know, Peter Thiel's role on the Facebook board has been questioned, whether he should be on there at all. This is a guy who funded a lawsuit against Gawker. Mark Zuckerberg has come out and said, of course, we want a diversity of opinions on our board. Max, do you think that Peter Thiel's time on the Facebook board could be coming to an end?
I think that it does have that look, especially because, you know, I think it was last week Peter Thiel, it was reported that he had stepped away from Y Combinator, which is the, you know, sort of well-known Silicon Valley incubator and investment fund. Kind of looks like, oh, maybe he's backing away from Silicon Valley to focus on Washington, D.C. I mean, one thing I will say, though, is that I think that Peter Thiel is a huge asset to Facebook, because one challenge that Zuckerberg has, that Facebook has, is conveying to everybody that Facebook is kind of a neutral party. And having a Trump supporter, having a guy who, you know, one of the most prominent, you know, endorsers of Donald Trump, you know, at the Republican National Convention, you know, that makes Facebook a little bit controversial, but I think that actually gives Facebook a lot of credibility, especially with people on the right who worry about it. You know, in the wake of the sort of that, there was a news scandal where Facebook was seen to have been pushing down conservative news and opinion. So I think if he does leave the board, which I mean, maybe that's in the cards, it would hurt Facebook. It wouldn't be great.